Hi, I'm Kelly Forshaw-Smith, Head Medical Trainer for the Finishing Touches Group and Director and Technician of Medicos London. And today we have...
Marc Allen.
Marc was a barber for over 20 years. He had his own successful salons. He even toured with a number of celebrity clients. It was a fabulous career, but it led him to a path of drug addiction, and he was pronounced bankrupt in 2009. Marc has since been clean for over 6 years. His friend and colleague, Ben Jones, went into SMP, and Marc decided that that was the industry he would be interested in going into too. In 2018, Marc won Rising Star, and in 2019, Best UK Technician in Meeting of Minds, and came second in Orlando World Awards for Best UK Clinic and Artist. Marc Awards, as he says, is doing the clients on a day-to-day basis. He has a 2 to 6 month waiting list in America, the Middle East, and in Europe as well, is where all of his lists can be found. Marc works with a team of very talented individuals at Creative Scalp, and he's based on the outskirts of London in Sussex. He's also a brand ambassador for Bishop SMP. So Marc's topic today is going to be the journey and techniques that have helped me along the way. So thanks, Marc. Hi.
Hey, Kelly. You're right. It's a good introduction.
Thanks. There's a lot of things to get down there.
Yeah.
Well done, you.
So, are you like a trained interviewer, or?
Well, you know, a little bit like Oprah nowadays. These days, getting there. Although I have my dog barking in the background, I don't think that Oprah has these problems.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have a few crackheads walking past the clinic as we speak.
Banging on the door. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So, Marc, one of the things, apart from your amazing work, of course, is I like how open you are, both professionally and personally. Do you think being a successful barber originally helped you in the transition to SMP?
Yeah, it definitely helped me to start with. So, I mean, it's obviously a thing. A barber coming into SMP. For me, it was right back in the day when I started it. Everybody just said to me, because I was like a top barber, you're going to be good at this. So I just thought, I'm going to be good at this. What I found was that I wasn't as good as I thought I was going to be. Yeah. So from there, I had to start sort of devising techniques and systems, getting them in place so that everything was repeatable, so that I would be good at it, you know? So it wasn't like I came straight in and went flying off. I had to really work at it to be good. And it wasn't just because I was a barber. It was because of something else that's actually within me, I think, you know?
What bits of the barbering do you think cross over with SMP, or have you crossed over?
Yeah, so obviously with barbering, you're going to have an idea of how to fade, how to blend it in, how to leave little scars, where the hairline kind of looks right, you know, just because, you know, when you're a barber, you're seeing people every day. So, but it's no guarantee, because I used to work with barbers who were absolutely shite, and they would stand there saying they've got 40 years experience, and there's no way you would want to sit in their chair. So someone just saying they're a barber does not guarantee they're going to be good at this. Yeah. So
I think for me, I mean, I only do a tiny bit of the scalp side, mainly to go alongside the medical. But for me, the hardest thing was that hairline, like when they first put someone in front of me. Or the hardest thing actually for me was the shaving of someone's hair. That bit, I pooped myself. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to actually have to shave someone's head. That bit for me was like pretty scary.
Yeah, so I suppose a lot of stuff I might just take for granted because I don't really realise what it's like not to be a barber. Yeah. So, you know, for me, it's normal. I think, you know, some guys, they're having, like, say they've got FUE scarring, things like that. So I'll do things like taking down the length to certain lengths. Some people, they might need it slightly longer. Some people, they might need to fade it out, blend it in, like them sorts of things. I just take for granted. I just do it.
Yeah, you've got the added advantage.
Yeah, but when I first started, I was doing hairlines and I would literally just draw them on freehand because that's all I was shown. And I just thought that I would get it right. And what I found was, as I was working and doing my first sort of set of clients, I was looking at pictures, I was looking at them and I was thinking something ain't quite right, you know? So from
How
there,
do you draw them on now?
it's freehand, but I've got what I call a 5-point system, you know. So I devised my own way and system of doing it. So, you know, I've made a few YouTube videos about it. If anyone goes on my channel, and I kind of put it out there a little bit, you know. And I just find 5 points, like make sure it's central, 2 points here are equal, and then the points where it lines up, like just behind the eye socket. Once them points are in place, then I know I've got 100% symmetry. Then it's a matter of joining up them points in whatever shape that you require.
Do you ever take a photograph and then step back and have a look at it? Because I do with the eyebrows and the areola. Do you think that helps?
Yeah, 100%. I'll take photos of the client before I design the hairline. Then I design the hairline in a rough way with the client. Whilst they're facing the mirror, they can have a look.
Yeah.
We get a rough idea. Then I take them away, sit them down so they're facing me. And then from there, I will design it and make sure the symmetry is in place. From there, I'll be taking shots with the camera at different angles, and then I'll be showing it back to them. Plus, I'll be looking on the camera. Does it look right? Because on the camera, you can see it's smaller. It's a lot easier to look. So you can look, okay, that needs adjusting. I'll go back and make an adjustment if needed.
Because also, I read that when someone or anybody looks in a mirror, we've got one stronger eye than the other. And obviously, one side's concave and the other one's convex. So what a client sees is something totally different. Whereas when it's a photograph and they look at it, they're like, oh, right, yes, I can actually see that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So everything I do has probably like 2 or 3 ways of backing itself up. So where are you going to have the hairline starting, you know? So I'll use a few different ways. It will be one way I'll be looking for the last hair. Another way will be judging like thirds of the face, putting that there. So I'll add little lines in. Also ask the client, where do you want it? You know, I'll get them to rise up their eyebrows and draw behind the muscle there. So we'll have like 2, 3, or even maybe 4 ways of saying, right, this is actually like within the parameters of where you can have your hairline. You know, how do you want it? Should we start a little bit further back and then we can like add a little bit on if we need to? You know, so it's not like just boom, boom, that's it. You know, there's a lot of options for the client.
How long does your consultations normally take you?
What, before we start the work, or just a consultation to get them to book in?
Both.
Okay, so yeah, that can be anything. So some people, let's say, I mean, at the minute it's all video consultations, so I'm just having video consultations. They probably take sort of 10, 15 minutes just, but back in the old days, you know, when you used to be able to see people, like, and actually work, you remember them days?
I remember that.
Yeah, so people used to turn up to the clinic, they've already done whatever research, they would come to the clinic, usually just to see me, just to see the clinic, just have a quick chat. They might only be here 10, 15 minutes and then they book in. But, you know, you get some other guys and they'll come and they'll be here for, you know, a half hour, even longer. They go away, they want to come back another day. You know, it's quite wide ranging. When it comes to actually the consultation before the treatment, so he's booked in for his first session, that consultation, which includes designing the hairline and everything before he signs on the dotted line and we actually put the needle into the scalp, that can take anything from, you know, the easiest guy would be like 10 minutes. Somebody else, you could be taking like 45 minutes to an hour, you know.
So it all just varies. Do you do female identification work as well?
Yeah, I have done, and I try to, I mean, for me, again, I think that's definitely where coming from a hairdressing background helps, being able to move the hair, being able to, you know, separate it and work into sections.
Yeah.
That 100% helps. Yeah. So guys that are not from that field, like, they just get in a mess, you know, trying to move the hair around.
Sectioning is definitely the best way. It's the only way in order to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think you got so successful in such a short period of time?
It took me 6 months and I was full-time doing scalps, and I didn't know how it was going to go. You know, the idea was I wanted to get into this business. It was out there, but it wasn't, you know, popular, you know, and anyone that I sort of said I was going to do this, you know, I was working in a barber shop. There was 9 other people working in there. And I said to them, I was getting into this. And they said, well, who's going to get that done?
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And my answer was
did
like,
they know?
Well, yeah, bald people. But you didn't see many people with it, you know, it wasn't really common. It feels more common now because all I ever see is scalps. It feels like every man and his dog is doing it. But, you know, at the time, I think because of my standing in the barbering industry and probably my age, a lot of my clientele, like from cutting their hair, their hair was thinning, or, you know, so being a trusted barber of a good level helped me build a portfolio, because I could say to people, look, I'm doing this, would you like it? And they trust me, you know? So they just trusted me, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing, you know? I'd had my training, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I just hoped it was going to look good, you know? So from there, I was able to build up a portfolio, working for free, trying to charge people if I could. You know, there was no pressure on me making money in this business because I was cutting hair already. My whole, I don't know what you call it, but my whole business was not to make money. It was to do the best job I could and see where it takes me, you know? So we were working like this place here. I had the back office. I converted it all myself. I got down on my hands and knees, got dirty. I was 7 days a week. I was cutting hair to make money, and I was doing all the decorating and everything myself. I got that up and running. There was no rent to pay. I could just focus on my work, hone in my craft, and just see where it took us.
That's amazing. So the work really does pay off then.
Yeah. But I've worked hard before.
How did you get the 2 to 7 month waiting list? How would you say?
Do you know what? It was up to a year. I had to literally, we took so when we send out a quote to people, we basically took my name off of it now, and built up the other guys like Will and Sammy, because it just got out of control. I was always busy, but what with the COVID situation, and it just put a backlog and everything, and it just got out of control. So we've literally taken my name off now and don't even quote for me. So
that's brilliant. Well done, you.
Yeah. And what is the answer to that? How have I been so successful? You know, but
doing what you're doing. I think for me, the honesty that you come across as such a genuine guy, you know your stuff, you're very, very talented. I would say that's clearly why the waiting list is there.
Yeah, you just have to trust that you're doing the right thing, and I'm trying to do the right thing by each client, you know. Yeah. And by doing that, just be totally. Even when I started, I didn't bullshit anyone. They would say to me, "How long have you been doing this for?" I'd be like, "Oh, well, 2 months."
Yeah.
Then they would look at me like, 2 months. I'm like, yeah, but you know.
You've got to start somewhere, and that's the thing. If you're honest, then people will know what they're expecting. There's no hidden surprises.
No, and I really try keep everybody's expectation levels. I think the difference is now when I talk, I know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, at the beginning it was like, you know, because people would say, "Oh, how's it going to look?" And I'm like, "Well, hopefully it's going to look good." Yeah. But now I can say without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to look amazing, you know, and people like, you know, they feel it. They know that I'm talking from the heart. I know what I'm talking about, and the proof is out there, you know, and they can come along. They can see other guys who have had it done, you know, and they can actually like look as close as they want at someone's hairline that's already had it done. They can see us working. There's nothing to hide from. It's just total truth all the way.
How do you see the future of SMP?
Well, I mean, if we're allowed to work again, the future is bright, you know? I think we've got obviously everybody uses different techniques out there. So I think we're all kind of working along the same kind of lines. And this is one thing that gained my popularity. I think when I came into it, you know, I'm sure there was people doing decent work out there, but there weren't much of it. And the way that I was taught was not producing the results that I thought looked good. It just looked like someone was tattooing your head, you know, with a blue tattoo. And it was like, well, if you're happy with that, you're happy with that, you know. But to me, it didn't look good. So I had to find a way of making it look fucking amazing, because I wanted that, you know, just like I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
So I would try and reach out to other people, but it didn't feel like there was anyone to reach out to. I could not see anyone out there like producing sort of like amazing results. There was a few, but I wasn't getting any sort of feedback. It was, you know, there wasn't any sort of like advanced courses you could go on, you know. So I just got my head down and I experimented with everything, made loads of mistakes, and had to learn how to correct them, you know, and devised all my own sort of techniques. I would watch myself, you know, it's like, how is my hand positioned? You know, what angle is the needle? Like, where is the needle? Is it there? Is it there? What way up is it facing? You know, how's the airflow? Like, how's the ink flowing through there? What ink am I using? How thick is the ink? You know, and I was testing absolutely everything. You know, it's a dangerous game to play when you've got to test it all out, because you're going to make mistakes. But I would write everything down, watch and see how it looked when the client come back, you know. And this was a process, and it took me a good 2 years. After that, I knew I had it.
But that's why you're a multi-award winner. At the end of the day, you've got to try. You've tried new things. You're not saying, oh, it was perfect the whole way through, and I was amazing the whole way through.
Oh no,
been there, tried that, and done it basically. No, that's great.
Yeah. I've made some right abortions, like, you know, and I hate it. But I've had to go through that, you know. And I say to my guys now who work with me and the people that come and train with me, you know, I've made them mistakes. Now you don't have to, you know. This is what happens.
Do you think people have got it easier now, the ones that are training now? Or maybe with the social media?
What, of people coming into the business got it easier, you mean?
The business.
Yeah, it should be easier. There's more of us willing to help now, you know. So I never got into the training new people business. What I've done is I started doing masterclasses. So I will, people will come and visit me for a couple of days and do a masterclass. They're already an artist. They're just not getting the results they want. They come and see me, I elevate their level, you know. I get more out of that. You know, my business partner tells me I shouldn't do it. Other people tells me, oh, you shouldn't give all your secrets away. But what I've learned is that I can't do everybody's head in the world. And it's better for everybody, you know. Forgetting the industry, it's better for other clients to get better results, you know. If a client of mine is walking around and he's a potential client of mine and he sees SMP on somebody and it looks shit, he ain't going to want to get it done.
Do you know what? You are 100% right. That's exactly what I do with the Medicos as well. A lot of people are like, oh, why are you training them? Or they're going to steal all your ideas. And quite often they do. But at the same time, I know, like, exactly what you've just explained is how I feel. This is good. This is good. Talking about social media and stuff, obviously at the moment, it's a particularly hard time, what with mental health, addictions and so on. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your past and, if possible, anything of the future and how you combated that?
Yeah. So my past being, I've been a guy who's always been good at everything. All right. So, which is kind of good, but then I put myself kind of on a pedestal as well. I am the great Marc Allen. So living my life like that was actually quite painful. I didn't really realize it. I was always went down the wrong path. I was hooked up with the wrong people from an early age. So whatever talents I had was kind of like counterbalanced by kind of like this different lifestyle. So I wanted everyone to think I was doing really well. It basically got to a stage, I had my barbershops. I had a couple in different towns. Mentally, I thought I'm going to take over the world. I'd set my sights up. I was going to franchise all over the world, and I am the great Marc Allen. And And what happened was I had all these dreams, but I could never quite get there. So I know this now. At the time, I didn't know, but I was getting fueled by all this sort of depression because I could never live up to these kind of like levels that I'd set myself. I'd always done drugs. I'd always smoked weed. I'd always drunk alcohol. I'd always been raving since I was the age of 16. Everything was kind of okay-ish. I had my business back in 2003. I set up my first barbershop. Right from the word go, I knew something weren't right. I felt stressed and I felt the pressure. I moved house, had a kid, like everything was all at the same time, and it all just got too much for me. Yeah. I started suffering like with what they called nervous exhaustion, basically a breakdown. I would see counsellors, this, that and the other, trying to sort myself out. But in the outside world, I'd have to try and make out that I'm okay, you know. Meantime, the shops are doing really well, but there was something missing from me running a business. I've learned now that I'm no good at running a business, dealing with the finance, all this sort of stuff. I'm good at certain things. Apparently, I'm good at doing social media. Apparently, I'm good at being artistic and working out techniques and doing all that sort of stuff, you know? So I've now learned what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So now I've got things in place that it's okay. Back then, I didn't have a clue. I just thought I was great at everything. So everything came to a head. The 2008 credit crunch, everything came down on me, basically. And so what happened was, long and short of it, I wasn't paying all my bills. I didn't know where to turn. It got really painful. And then the bailiffs come and just locked the door of my shops. So I was like, okay, so here we are. Like, I'd already split up with the missus. We'd lost the house. My whole family life had gone. Yeah. The bailiffs come, locked me down. And I thought, do you know what? And it was kind of like, you know, two fingers up to the world. I felt like the world was against me. A lot of my friends were doing well because they were selling cocaine. So I was like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to start again. I've gone bankrupt. I've lost everything. It's all right. I'll just start again, trying to be positive, you know. So I'll just start selling that because that's what they're doing. They're doing all right, you know. So I started cutting hair from home. I was selling as well, you know. So you can imagine, like, my apartment, every half an hour someone's coming around. It was a bit dodgy. So there was a few dodgy times. And then meantime, I was touring with Dizzee Rascal. I was going all around the country, getting picked up, living the life. Everyone thought that I was, like, you know, doing really well. But secretly behind closed doors, it was all going downhill really rapidly. And it took about 6 months to a year. And then I was homeless. And, you know, that period was like, you know, you're full of lies and deceit because all you want is more of your drug of choice, wherever that is. So, you know, friends, family, everyone just starts going, hang on a minute, like, you know. So I ended up, like, you know, yeah, quite in a bad spot. And that bumped along for a few years. Yeah, I wouldn't turn up to the shows, to the big jobs that I had, and I just wouldn't turn up because I was busy doing what I was doing. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. There was a few years of really bad stuff.
What was your turning point, if there was a turning point?
What, of knowing, of getting better? You mean?
I need to do something about this.
There was a lot of turning points. You know, every time something bad. You know, we're talking like horrific shit going on. You know. Every time something horrific happened, I thought, that's it. I've got to sort myself out. 2 days later, I'd be back in the same situation again, you know? And this is what happens to people, you know? A lot of people out there, they suffer and they get caught up in drink and drugs and whatever it is, you know, and they just can't break that cycle. And I kept trying. I was trying to get into rehab. I didn't have the finance, like, I couldn't be financed by anybody, like, you know, so I would go and, you know, I would go to these like places like, you know, not rehabs, but they're like, you know, there's a few places around, and you go there. It's basically like a needle exchange where you go for, you know, that sort of stuff, and you're supposed to get help there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was a long process. I ended up somebody taking me to a meeting, which they call it. You got AA meetings, and I ended up in one called CA.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, but again, it was like, you know, it was on me. I'm the one who has to change everything, you know. But when you're in that situation, you just want someone to sort it all out for you.
Yeah.
But so again, it just took a lot of time, and every time it was like I was just getting battered down, like, you know, whatever it is that I was suffering from, everything that I was as a person had to change, but I just didn't know it. So it was bit by bit by bit by bit. Every time I suffered that little bit more, I would realize, that person, they told me like I should do, like, they were telling me I should go to a meeting every day. I don't want to go to a meeting every day. I'm busy. I've got things to do, you know? But if I didn't do it, what would happen was I would be off using, and then things that I thought I had to do, I wouldn't be doing them anyway, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be picking my kids up from school. I wouldn't be going on holiday. I wouldn't be working. I'd just be like sleeping rough on the beach. So like until it told me enough was, you know, and then the moment came, I was like, right, okay. And then I started doing everything that needed to be done to give me some clean time and to start working on myself, you know, as a person. And
amazing. What resources are out there? You touched on it briefly, but what resources are out there for, at the moment? Obviously it's a bit difficult, but so at the moment, with everything going on, what resources are there for somebody who's suffering with mental health or addiction?
Yeah, well, I mean, the two go hand in hand usually. You know, some people do suffer from mental health, but they believe that the drink and the drugs help. So I was like that for a long time, you know. Oh, I'm suffering with this, that, and the other, and then but you'd be like, yeah, but and then you just give the excuse that the drink or the drugs, they help. You think they help, but they don't. They're actually like, you know,
make it worse.
They make it worse, yeah. And even without the drink and the drugs, you will still suffer from whatever it is that you suffer with, you know. Like, I have a hole in my soul, it needs to be fixed. It's like, you know, every day I have to connect to God, I have to pray, I have to ask him to help me stay clean every day, you know, whether you believe in God or not.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do. So, you know, like, and since doing that, I've been protected each and every day, you know. So, you know, whether it's real or not, whether anyone believes, like, you know, that's what I have to do.
That's your own thing. Yeah, no, 100%. It's unbelievable. It's amazing how open you are. Like 100%. Like, this is, I think personally, this is really going to help somebody who's maybe, you know, watching the channel, and maybe everyone's suffering to a certain degree. Obviously, at the moment in particular, everything feels like it's very against us. We can't work. We can't do this.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain degree, I know people say, oh, you know, positive, but you've got to stay positive, I think, as much as you can, because otherwise it does start bogging you down. So do things. My little thing, mantra or whatever it's called, is to every day do one thing, half an hour, that I really enjoy doing. And I have half an hour to myself. I have to hide underneath the covers away from the children, but I do get half an hour to myself.
What is it you're doing then?
Just hiding.
That just didn't sound good.
It didn't sound good. Let me rewind that. I hide and have a bit of me time. It sounds wrong. But no, 100%. I think, have you got any positivity ideas or vibes that you'd give out?
Yeah, so what I found out was, right, so you need to learn about yourself. You need to know how you tick as a person. All right, so this is what I did not know. I had an idea of like what I wanted you to think I was, and I had an idea of like what I wanted someone else to think I was. Back when I was younger, I wanted people to think that I was a great footballer. I wanted people to think that I was an amazing barber. I wanted people to think like this, that, and the other. I wanted people to think that I had loads of money. I had people to think that I had it all going on, you know? Like, nowadays, I do not give a shit what you think, yeah? Because I've learned about myself.
Yeah.
Like, now I know who I am and what I do. And And I know that if I don't look after myself mentally, like, and spiritually, then I will start to suffer. And then the next thing you know, I'll be off doing whatever. So you got to know about yourself. I think that's the key to it. And I used to, so the old me would try and be positive, and I would talk to myself in my own head and tell myself, come on, Mark, be positive. Come on, Mark, do this, do that, do that. That doesn't work, because it's like a crazy person. You're just talking to yourself, you know? That's why taking it to a higher power, God, I ask someone else to look after me. Please, whoever you are out there, look after me, make sure I'm all right today. Help me be a better person, because I can be an arsehole. So don't let me be an arsehole. Let me be a good person. Let me go about my day and help other people. Like, you know, so by giving it to someone else, asking somebody else to look after you, like, it kind of helps. There's lots of tools that I use, but it's taken a long time. You know, every day I get sent an email. This is to do with my recovery stuff, and it's just like a spiritual reading. Sometimes I read them and I'm like, okay, whatever. And sometimes, so I'm signed up. So you got, so Narcotics Anonymous is NA. So I'm signed up with a thing called Just for Today. You can probably go on their website, you sign up on the email, and every day you get sent like a spiritual reading, tells you something, you know. I've also got loads of other sort of readings that I have. There's a thing called the Just for Today card. People can probably Google this as well, Just for Today card. And it basically tells you what sort of person to be. You just read through it, you know, and it's like, just for today, I'm going to be like this, you know, like, so you just read through it and it's like, oh, okay, if I just act like that, behave like that, then everything's okay, you know. So I've got things like that. I've got times when I have to like sit down and write what they call gratitude list. So there'll be times when I should be really grateful about my life because it's amazing, but I can still feel shit even if everything's all good. So, you know, what you've got to do is switch that around. So, you know, I might have days where I don't want to come to work. I don't want to do this, that, and the other. So then before I come to work, I'll have to sit there, write a little gratitude list, like, and say, I'm really grateful to be able to work, you know. Look at this situation now. We can't even go to work, you know. So we can't go to work. So I can sit in misery. We can't go to work. I can't earn any money. I can let that come into my head. Or I can say to myself, I'm really grateful that I'm able to have this time off of work. So that
to be with your children, to do things around the house, to reflect on everything. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So I really have to do that stuff, you know, and I get days where, you know, I can have like weeks on end where everything's all right. You can't touch me. Everything's okay. Then one little thing might happen and I'll get really affected by it. You know, somebody might say something. It's like, oh, like, and then all of a sudden, hang on a minute, and I might go for a few days not feeling right. And then I will kind of like what I call up my game, you know, recovery wise, reading wise, you know, maybe I need to, there's times when, you know, I suffer with anxiety, I suffer with depression, like to stop them things happening. I've got tools. I understand what it is. I understand what them two things are. So I will take myself away and put them things to bed and feel okay and live more in the present moment. Like there's other things like when you're thinking too much, you've got too much going on in your head and it's just battering around. They call it like a washing machine, you know? It's like, you know, your head's just getting battered by too much going on. So I know how to fix that, you know? I know that if I take myself away, I do meditation. I've got an app on my phone called Calm. I'm signed up to that. You got it too? So you go off, you do 10, 15 minutes of the meditation, you know? It might calm you down, it might not. You might have to do it again, but you'll do it every day. Like if you do make a point of doing that every day, it will gradually calm you down. You know, you don't need to be feeling like that, but you have to do something to stop it, you know?
I think this is the thing. Look, a lot of people think that they're just on their own. There's not that many people. Sometimes people don't talk enough, particularly men, I think. They just don't talk. They don't say, in general, say what their issues or their problems are. They build it up and then poof, they just explode.
Oh yeah. You imagine me down the pub a few years ago, like the great Marc Allen touring with rappers and all this shit. Like, and then I'm in the pub, like everyone's like getting on one, and I'm going, oh, I'm feeling a bit fearful today, you know, got a bit of anxiety. Like, and we're like, what are you talking about, you tosser? You know, probably give me a slap.
This is why this is so good. This is a real man talking about it, and that's what I think is definitely missed 100%. I do a couple of things because I suffer with anxiety as well, some now and again, and it's more since the whole lockdown thing. I get terrible nightmares. I've always had bad nightmares, but they are horrific. So I've done hypnotherapy, and it has been. I was like, what a load of rubbish, as if it's going to help. It's unbelievable, one session, and I was like, what is going on? I've actually just had a new one done, had it done this morning actually, just before this, so I'm feeling very chirpy, but it's really helped me.
Into a chicken or something.
Exactly, very chirpy. And then also what I find as well is things that telling yourself that, you know, you can do it, or you are good enough, or you can get through this. And I just have a message that pings up. I got told by Vicky Martin, she does quite a lot of positive speaking, and she sets an alarm. She was like, you must try it. So I thought, well, why not? So in the morning, the alarm goes off, and in it has a word that comes up, and it has my favorite music that comes on as well. So it starts my day with my music, and it just has a word on saying incredible or remarkable, or, you know, you can do it kind of thing. And that just programs me into the day of thinking, right, okay, I've got this, I'm ready.
Yeah, you have to do stuff like that.
Yeah, you do.
It's like, you know, if you don't, you just leave yourself open to like feeling like crap. And I think that's years ago I had stuff like that, hypnotherapy, I had counsellors, everything, but you know, I never did what they said. They would tell me to get out of bed, like, and do this sort of stuff you're talking about, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever, like, you know. And I thought just going to see these people would cure me, but it never did, you know. It's now I realise I'm the one who actually has to do something to make my spirit feel better, to calm my mind. And when I do that, I feel better, and everybody gets the benefit of it, you know. My family, my kids, like, otherwise I sit there like, I don't want to play with my kids. I don't want that, just hassle, you know. But really, if I'm okay and I look after myself, it's actually quite nice, you know. I can play with my kids, I can have a nice life, you know. I can be at ease with myself.
Yeah, be the person you want to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a new trainee who's toying on the idea of going into the SMP world?
Stay out of my business, that's what I would say.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, there's too many of us. Get out. Yeah. No.
Oh,
if you really, that's what I actually honestly think. Yeah. Fuck off. Don't get involved. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But really, like, again, this is where I have to tell myself the world is abundant. It's okay. You know, help people. You know, I don't naturally want to help people. I just want to help myself. You know, that's the truth of it. But if I help other people, then my life will be better as a consequence of it. So, you know, so to new people getting into it, it's a matter of building up a portfolio, you know. And I think, I don't know what the numbers are, but probably from what I see, you know, you see all these people getting trained, new guys, probably 95% of them don't go anywhere with it. I don't know, you know. It does seem to be like a small number of people that can actually reach a level of working full time in SMP, you know. I don't think
it's a sideline. A lot of people think, oh, I'll do that, like with the eyebrows. They're like, oh, just add it as an extra and do it. But it's not. It needs to be dedicated, doesn't it?
Yeah, to be good at this, you've got to be doing it every day. You know, it's such a simple thing, but with so many different complications. You know, that's what we find. It's just the scalp itself. You know, the different skin types, the thicknesses of the skin, the toughness of the skin. You know, you could be good in one area, not in another area. Like, you know, to be able to know what's going on at every moment, you know, you've got to be fully focused and you've got to be doing it every day. You know, I believe, you know, or at least when I started, I made a point of making sure I was working at least once a week, you know, just make sure I had someone booked in. If I didn't have someone booked in, I would make sure I would offer a free treatment, just keep myself going, you know. I think now probably, yeah, you need that muscle memory and you need that memory. It's like, you know, when I play golf, I'm pretty good at golf, but when I don't play for a little while, when I go to play again, all of a sudden the ball's not quite going where I want it, you know? So it takes a little while and then I get better at it. So, you know, nowadays with the SMP, I think I've probably got to the stage where, because I've kind of like honed my technique in, you know, I know where my hand positions are, you know, the way that I work. So everything's honed in, but still, you know, when I come back to work after this lockdown again, it's going to be like, oh, hang on a minute, like, you know, go easy, you know, what's my pressure? It takes a bit of time. So for someone new, build up your portfolio, make sure you're working regular, you know, you're not going to get good at it unless you're working regularly, you know, and take your time, you know. I always was just going to take my time. Just, it don't take it, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. You just take your time and gradually just build up whatever it is. And nowadays, with the barber shops back in the day, I was chasing something. Nowadays, I've let everything grow organically. You know, I just do the best I can. And what's happened is it's just kind of like the business has grown bigger than me now. And, you know, just before COVID, we were we were going to open a clinic in Harley Street, Marbella and Dubai. Like literally this year, we were going to go bosh. And then COVID came and I was like, whoa. So we've had to hold off of that and rethink what we're going to do. So, you know, I'm so busy that I need other people in my clinic helping me, but then I'm busy with clients waiting for me in other countries and other areas, and I get other artists coming to me saying, I get a lot of consultations, but they come and they show me your work, like, and it's pretty mad really to get my head around it, you know, that this is happening. But so the future for my business is now, you know, I don't really want to expand. I'm happy just sitting here doing my own little thing, but it's expanding without me doing anything. Yeah. Well, just by me doing whatever I am doing, like it's expanding. So, you know, so I think the actual, what we're going to do, rather than having lots of different locations, I'm going to do like a licensing thing. So artists who already have a clinic, but they're not quite doing as well as they want to, they come to me, they can get licensed by me. So they then become part of Creative Scalps as an artist. And to be licensed by me as Creative Scalps, you can use, like, you know, you'll be trained up to my level, and then I'll be there to help them all the way, you know.
Well, you know, so, if you need a receptionist in Dubai, I'm more than happy to put my name forward.
Yeah, no problem.
And Marc, this has been absolutely wonderful. You're very inspirational. I think it's been great chatting to you. So thank you very much for talking to me, and I hope everyone enjoyed listening. And that is the one and only Marc Allen, and I will now go back to hiding under my duvet. So thank you so much.
Go and enjoy yourself.
I will, don't you worry. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, Kelly. Peace out.